Zdravo, and welcome to episode 2 of SLOgomet, a Slovenian football podcast, and the only English-speaking podcast that covers anything and everything to do with Slovenian football. In today's episode, lovingly entitled Bittersweet, in reference to Matjaz Kek's departure from the Slovenian National team, as announced today, December 1st. And also to the losses in European competition by both the women's team of NS Mura and Celjes' 1-2 defeat away at SK Sigma in Czechia. Also covered in today's episode will be a recap of Matchday 17 of the PrvaLiga Telemach, a preview of Matchday 18, a preview of the remaining Pivovarna Union Cup matches, highlighting a near record-breaking goal by national team striker Jan Vipotnik for Swansea City, and other national team player accomplishments. A recap of the women's national team friendlies, and lastly a short thank you and farewell to Matjaz Kek and what the future holds of the national team manager position. So let's start by recapping round 16 of the PrvaLiga Telemach, with match 1 Alumini hosting Primorje at Sportni Park Alumini on Friday, November 28th. This match was overall pretty dull because it ended in a 0-0 draw, but there were a couple of highlights, with a 25th minute free kick by Alumini taken by Marko Simonic that was just deflected off the top bar, and it just inches from going in past Primorje's keeper, which could have been a 1-0 lead for Alumini, but it did not fall for them. Then, in the 72nd minute, Ivan Sverzenjak's wide shot was possibly missed due to the conditions of the pitch and the ball deflecting in the muddy patches in front of the net in the keeper's boxes. And the pitch quality for this match is overall fine, but the spots in front of the net, especially where the keepers were standing, was very muddy, and it kind of looks like the ball was going into the lower right corner of the goal, and it just kind of hits one of those divots and bounces just wide to the right. And it could have been a goal for Alumini, and the angle of the camera on the highlights just kind of makes it look like that's possibly what happened. But at the end, it didn't end up being a goal for Alumini, and the match remains a 0-0 draw. Then in the 80th minute, a Primorje goal gets brought back by VAR for a foul in the build-up in Primorje's half, where Primorje's number 33, Ishak Coyote Rafiu, elbows number 4 for Alumini, Rolk Schauback, when he goes up for a header, and in an attempt to get the ball, his elbow goes into Rolk's back, and this is a harsh foul, but it's a necessary call for VAR to bring back, especially considering, elbows on players is a foul in general, but then you're also, throwing an elbow into a player who is going up for a header and is putting themselves in that vulnerable position, and that is not a safe play at all. And I'm very glad that VAR did bring this back, even though it is extremely harsh for Alumini. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Just don't make stupid mistakes like that. So the match ends in a 0-0 draw, and my prediction was incorrect on the match, with it being an Alumini 3-0 win. Ended up just being a 0-0 draw, and the match was not entirely boring in itself, but, my prediction was wrong, so I'll just take the loss there. The second match of the week sees a Prekmurje derby between NS Mura and NK Maribor on Saturday, November 29th at Mestni Stadion Fazaneria in Murska Sobota. So there were chances on chances for Maribor, especially in the first half, but the only goal of the match was by number 55 Mark Spanring, and his first of the season, assisted by number 79 David Pajic, his third assist of the season. An outside of the box low shot to the far side of the net, which ended up being well outside of the reach of Marta's keeper, and this only goal of the match ended up being a win for Maribor, which was an expected win, but I expected also that for them to have way more goals than just one, especially against such a lower tier opposition, second position team versus an 8th position team. And at the end of the day, a win's a win, but my prediction of I forget what it was, I think it was like 3-1 Maribor or 3-0 Maribor, did not come true. But Maribor definitely has to figure out how to finish some of these chances, because some of these were a bit ridiculous to be failed attempts on goal, especially on like near open goals or unmarked players just having shots on goal, and for them to not even have very many shots on goal, just I believe it was 10 shots total, 1 on goal, is kind of a win's a win, but if you want to compete, you still have to be successful as a team, and having statistics like that does not breed success at a club. Match 3 of the round of 16 saw Olympia host Radomlje at Stadion Stožice in Ljubljana on Saturday, November 29th. And an 11th minute blunder for number 3 of Radomlje happens when he gifts the ball to Olympia from Olympia's high press antics. And number 37 Pedro Lucas fails to capitalize on a chance on goal. A keeperless goal, mind you, as Radomlje's keeper attempts to come out of goal to try and stop Lucas from getting a shot on goal, but a Radomlje defender ends up managing to get inside the box and keep the chance out of the net. Then a 15th minute free kick for Olympia opened the scoring when number 10 Mitrovsky lobbed the ball into a crowded box and number 30 Jan Gorenc off of a header gets the ball over the Radomlje keeper and into the net. Now, this is my second week of covering the Slovenian leagues on this podcast, and this is 2 headed goals for Olympia in a row, so let's see if the streak continues in the future. And then for Olympia in the 51st minute, another Radomlje error almost leads to a goal by Mitrovsky, but is cleared at the last possible moment with a sliding save by number 77 Zan Zaler of Radomlje, and this ball was inches from going into the net, but his efforts to keep the ball out of Radomlje's net were soon dashed by a far-side corner taken by Olympia that goes to the head of Pedro Lucas that bounces at the feet of Jan Gorenc, where he taps the ball in, collecting his second goal of both the night and of the season. And while Jan Gorenc was having a phenomenal match, he ends up conceding a penalty when he essentially American-style football tackles Radomlje's number 98 Stanislav Kabukian inside of Olympia's box, where Radomlje's number 9, Nino Kukovets, calmly and collectly slots the penalty home to bring the match to a 2-1 scoreline, and this gives Radomlje a chance at the comeback at the 77th minute. But absolute chaos soon follows when we get something very rare in the sport of football, where an offsides penalty occurs past the keeper. So Olympia win the ball high up in the pitch, also due to their high pressing in this match, where the duo of number 99 Antonio Marin and number 11 Alex Blanco get past Radomlje's keeper, Pridigor, but a Radomlje defender manages to get between the goal and the attacking duo, and Marin passes the ball to Blanco, and this pass is inches behind where Blanco was standing, and by the rules of football, there is only one player between the opponent's net, and Blanco, being ahead of the ball, is in the offsides position. So after a VAR check, the goal is disallowed, and by inches of being offside, and I mean it could even be centimeters of offside, we end up getting this extremely rare moment in football, and this can all be found on the PrvaLiga Telemach channel's highlights match of the Olympia and Radomlje match at timestamp 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Both keepers played well overall in this match, but Olympia played better overall as a team, so I ended up with a successful prediction of a 2-1 win for Olympia over Radomlje. Match 4 of Matchday 16 on Sunday, November 30th, NK Domžale hosts NK Zdravo at Sportni Park Domžale, where they upset Bravo with a 1-0 victory. So at the 36th minute, storming into the box, Falu Faye of Domžale collects a corner from Domžale's number 8, Denis Bosniak, and heads the ball into the net off the hands of Bravo's keeper. And when I say he comes storming in, like, he is just sprinting into the box, sprinting into the wall of Bravo defenders, and gets a perfectly timed header onto the ball and ends up giving Domžale a 1-0 lead, and this ends up being the only goal of the match. And the only way I can really describe Bravo today was poor. They only ended up with 1 shot on goal versus bottom of the table opposition, as a matter of fact, last place opposition, and I expected more of Bravo, but props to Domžale for picking up a win versus a top 4 team, but they, still sit on the bottom of the league with 12 points and a negative 20 goal differential, so the match was entertaining, but that's kind of a bad situation for both teams, if we're being honest. I mean, Bravo are still up there, but dropping a game like that is just not good for morale, not good for energy, and you're coming into the winter break with only I believe 1 or 2 more domestic matches left before the winter break, and that is not the type of energy or the type of streak you want to be on going into the near halfway point to the league. The last match of the week sees Celje host Koper in Stadion Zdravo on November 30th, and a Celje 21st minute opener by a loosely trailed Ivica Vidovic off of a very smooth chipped pass into the box by number 8 Marko Kvezic gets tapped into the lower left corner of the goal, and Celje take an easily earned 1-0 lead in the match, beating a diving attempt by Koper's keeper Matjaz Kek. And then a equalizer by Koper comes in the 35th minute, where Koper outnumbers Celje's defense, and Koper's number 19 Leo Riemats delivers a perfect low cross directly into the path of number 99 Kamil Manseri, beating Celje's not only captain but the Slovenian national team's right back in Jan Korničnik. And Celje's keeper Jean-Luc Leben's attempt to stop Manseri fails as he taps the ball in past Leben's sliding effort directly into the net. So in this very high-energy match between some top 4 teams in the PrvaLiga, Koper's counterattack against the pressure of Celje managed to be enough to get a 1-1 draw, but Celje definitely had a lot of chances in this match with a total of 19 shots for Celje, with some of those being great saves for Matjaz Kek of Koper, which to his credit they were legitimately great saves, a couple of diving saves, a couple of last minute last second taps right off the line to try and keep the ball out of the net. But Celje's coach Albert Riera had this to say about his players finishing in the post-match interview, saying the difference between being worth $500,000 and being a $5 million striker is right there in the box. When you have the chance to finish, you have to put it inside the goal. And I mean, I agree with him on the fundamental level, but there's always a little bit of nuance with the types of chances. There's a reason that not we collectively, but the sport eventually ended up with the optic stat of XG, or the expected goal percentage. So there's always a little bit of nuance there, but overall I agree with his assessment of his team. And sometimes it's just not going to be your night as a striker, and it happens. But overall I agree with Riera's assessment here in this match. Also in this game for Celje, a bit of bad luck happens when Korničnik picks up a injury to his shoulder, and also in the post-match press conference, Albert Riera mentions this. He says that the current time frame for his return is unknown. All we can say is that, especially for Celje's European hopes, that I hope Jan Korničnik comes back quick and fully healthy, and thankfully Celje are still sitting pretty decent in the Conference League standings as it is, but he is, as Riera says, a key player to the team, and best wishes to you, Korničnik. I hope you get well soon. So this brings us to the standings on the PrvaLiga Telemach. So overall, not much changes. NK Celje still sits on top of the table with 12 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss, with a goal difference of 29 and 40 points in the season. NK Maribor still sits in second place with 9 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses, and a goal differential of 12 with 31 points on the season. Then in third place we have FC Koper with 8 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses, and a goal differential of 7 with 28 points on the season. In fourth place we have NK Bravo with 7 wins, 4 draws, and 6 losses, with a goal differential of 5 and 25 points on the season. With Olympia's win, they actually jump up past Radomlje to get that 5th position spot. They now sit with 7 wins, 4 draws, and 6 losses, equal with Bravo, but with a single point positive in the goal differential. They sit 1 point behind them in that 5th position. With NK Alumini's draw and Radomlje's loss, they jump up to the 6th position on the season, or on the table in the season, and they sit at 6 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses, and a goal differential of -7 with 22 points, -6 with 22 points. With Radomlje's loss to Olympia, they sit with 6 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses, and a goal differential of -7. Then we get into the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, where we have Murda sitting with 3 wins, 4 draws, 8 losses, and a goal differential of -7 with 15 points in the season. In ninth place in the playoff spot, we have ND Primorje with 4 wins, 3 draws, 10 losses, and a goal differential of -14 with 15 points in the season. And then in 10th place, even though they still got a win on the season, or another win this season, they still sit in that relegation spot with 3 wins, 3 draws, and 11 losses on the season with a goal differential of -20 and a points total of 12 points on the season. So after the recap of the table, we go on to the predictions for match week 17, in which we have the first match on the weekend of Matchday 17, Koper hosting Domžale at 5:30 p.m. Central European Time, or at 10:30 a.m. Central US Time. So for Koper versus Domžale, I'm expecting Koper to just be pretty dominant across the pitch. I mean, Domžale did pick up a win against Zdravo. It was definitely an upset win, although Domžale were also at home. Koper are at home for this match on Friday. I'm going to go Koper 3, Domžale 1. Domžale probably get a goal here just because they might get one just past Yardhar on maybe a lucky breakaway or something. But Koper, I'm expecting a 3-1 win for Koper. Probably dominant overall, but conceding a goal, conceding a maybe lucky goal, maybe something off a corner, but definitely a Koper victory nonetheless. Next up, on Saturday, December 6th at 8 a.m. US Central Time or 3 p.m. Central European Time, we have Maribor hosting Alumini. And Maribor, they can't seem to find form, especially when it comes to just finishing chances. And for that reason, I'm going to go Maribor 2, Alumini 1. I'm tempted to go with a Maribor Alumini 1-1 draw, but I still think that Maribor are just the better club here. I think they're a step above Alumini, not just on the table, but just in terms of the quality of players, the value of players. The fact that Maribor are at home certainly doesn't help, but yeah, it's going to be a Maribor win for sure. The manner in which they do it will probably be pretty messy overall, unless they find form. And if they find form, I could easily see this being a 4-1, 4-0, 3-0 type of win for Maribor over Alumini. But I'm going to stick with a 2-1 win for Maribor here. Also on Saturday, December 6th, we have Radomje hosting Murda at 10:30 a.m. Central US Time or 5:30 p.m. Central European Time, and I have Radomje picking up a win here against Murda with a win of 2-1, giving them that edge because they are both at home, both because they've been finding form and just finishing chances, especially against some pretty good teams. I mean, scoring a goal against Olympia is definitely no easy feat. Yeah, so Radomje 2-1 over Murda seems pretty realistic in my mind. I don't really see a draw here happening either way. I definitely think that regardless, one of these teams is going to win this match, but overall my prediction stands at a 2-1 win Radomje over Murda, giving them that home field advantage, so to speak. Then on Sunday, December 7th at 8 a.m. Central US Time or 3 p.m. Central European Time, we have Zdravo hosting Olympia. Although they both play at the same home arena of the Stadio Stojice, so a home field advantage doesn't really work in this case. And in this match, I expect Olympia to just be the better side overall. I know Olympia is definitely going to have the tougher match against Celje on Thursday in the cup game, but Olympia just, again, one of those things where it's the better side. A home field advantage doesn't apply here, so there's no benefit for Zdravo in this match. So I'm going to go Olympia 2, Zdravo 1. Zdravo still have some quality in their team, even though they just lost to Domžale. But if this isn't the last match, it's the second to last match of the season before we go into the winter break. So Zdravo are definitely going to put their all in this match. Same with Olympia, and even though they're both going to be going at it, I'm going to see Olympia getting the edge here with a 2-1 win, Olympia over Zdravo. So now I'm going to preview the remaining cup games in the round 16 of the Pokal Pivovarna Union. And first we have at 6 a.m. Radomje hosting Primorje. Um, Neither of these teams are going to win the cup, if we're being realistic here. Uh, I mean, they have no reason not to try and go for the cup. They have no reason not to really put out a strong side. Maybe Primordier is a little bit hesitant to, risk it all, considering the fact that they're still trying to stay above those relegation playoff spots. And Radomje are not, home free from that, being in that position, but they definitely are currently the better side. So I'm going to go with Radomje being at home and taking the win against Primordier. Again, that is on December 2nd at 6 a.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. Or next up is going to be a small preview of the remaining round of 16 matches of the Pokal Pivovarna Union. And first up, we have Radomje hosting Primordier. I'm going to give the win here to Radomje. Both these teams have no reason not to go for the cup. It's the only thing they're really competing in this season. Neither one of them are pushing for European spots in the league table. Primordier are more or less just fighting to stay above relegation. I still think Domjali are, they're a little cooked, so to speak. But Primordier and Radomje can definitely probably have a good match here. It might even go to pens. I don't think that Radomje will lose overall. They'll probably move on to the round of eight or the quarterfinals, but it's going to be one to watch. Overall, I think I'm going to go with a Radomje win here, 3-1, 3 Radomje, 1 Primordier. Also on December 2nd, we have Zdravo hosting Rudar. Rudar is a Druga team, and I don't think that Rudar competing very well in the Druga Liga as it stands right now. So I'm going to go Bravo win. I'm going to go 4 Bravo, 0 Rudar. Again, Bravo, they're sitting in that 4th position, but I don't think they're going to keep that 4th position. And I think their best bet here is to just try and go for the cup here. And even though Celje are the favorites, I see no reason why Bravo shouldn't compete in the cup or at least take it seriously. Then on December 2nd, we have NAFTA 1903 hosting Murda. And as I said last week, NAFTA, if you want to, show that you're ready to go back up to the PrvaLiga, there's no better way to do it than beating a lower table opposition in Murda. But that's also kind of counterintuitive in a way because the more match fixtures that Murda have in the PrvaLiga, the more tired they are and the less likely they are to compete to staying up. But again, Murda also aren't in that current 10th automatic relegation spot anyways, so NAFTA, it'd be cool to see them win. Just, an underdog win, Druga Liga team beating the PrvaLiga sides, but that's going to be probably a relatively even match. I'm gonna go 1 NAFTA, 0 Murda here. And then on Thursday, the 4th of December, we have Olympia hosting Celje in the Cup round of 16. And, this is going to be interesting. So Olympia seem to have finally settled into form here. They have nothing really to compete for in the, they aren't in European competition. They're currently in 5th in the PrvaLiga, and I expect them to start climbing the table soon, but that hasn't happened yet. And then Olympia's current manager in the past match this weekend against Radomje, he is Federico Bessone. He has stated that they're going to compete, they're going to go for the cup, they want to try and guarantee themselves into that Europa League spot, and winning the Slovenian Cup is a great way to try and get yourself into that Europa League spot, although I believe you still have to play qualifiers to get into the Europa League. But I think due to Slovenia's coefficient, especially thanks to Celje's performance in the Conference League in the past couple of years, that a Europa League spot now drops you directly into the Conference League, even if you fail to qualify through your Europa League qualifier positions. So, Olympia, storied club, one of the, historical top four sides of the nation, Olympiad, Celje, Maribor, Koper. I expect that Olympia and Celje are going to they're gonna fight. This is gonna be a great, entertaining match. If you have the chance to go to it in Slovenia, I would definitely recommend that you do. And if you have a chance to watch it, I would also definitely recommend that you do. Um, Olympia upsetting Celje here. Even though Olympia at home, I would still put them here at the underdog position. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Celje 3, Olympia 2. It's gonna be a great round of 16 match. And I think that the winner of this match is probably going to be the winner of the cup overall anyways. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the match and looking forward to see the coaches' reactions and how they adapt, or if they're going to, stick to their guns, stick to their styles, and anything they have to say in the post-match press conferences. And it's going to be interesting and entertaining all around. So, yeah, Olympia and Celje, the 4th of December at 11 a.m. U.S. Central Time, which would be 6 p.m. Central European Time. Definitely look forward to this match. Definitely look forward to seeing how the match gets played out. And I favored Celje to win this match 3-2. There are also currently no changes to the Women's League, the Next-Gen Liga, or the Liga, and all Liga matches are currently on hold until March 3rd of 2026 for the annual winter break in the Slovenian leagues. And as it stands right now, no current changes in the league table. It's still NAFTA leading with Briniego Suple in second. And again, I don't expect that to change. I expect that to be the two teams who are going to be competing for the promotion to the PrvaLiga. And if anything changes in terms of transfers or players, managers, etc., I will do that. I will update listeners during the winter break, which will be coming soon for the PrvaLiga as well. However, for the Women's League, we do have a sad update as NS Mura fails to continue their competition in the UEFA Europa Women's Cup after falling 5-0 in a two-legged affair with, now I'm going to probably butcher this, but it is Nordsjælland. I hope that was at least close. And they fell 5-0 in a two-legged affair. They made it to the round of 16, which is still an impressive feat, especially for a country the size of Slovenia and how dominant a lot of the other women's teams and clubs are around Europe, specifically in England, Spain, France, Germany, etc. But making it to the round of 16 is definitely an impressive feat. So shout out to the women of NS Mura, and best of luck in the Slovenian Women's Liga competition, and best of luck next year when you inevitably qualify again. And next we have a recap of Celje's fall to SK Sigma Olomouc in the Conference League. So, Celje went to Czechia on the week, or in the week on Thursday, and they sadly lost to SK Sigma of Czechia. And the first goal that we concede, or that Celje concede, is Jean-Luc Laban just has to do better. He stops the first shot, but he doesn't collect it. It just deflects directly in front of him. And sadly, that is enough for a Sigma player to get into the box and put the shot away, giving Sigma a 1-0 lead early on in the match. And again, Jean-Luc Laban definitely could have done better, definitely could have kept possession of the ball, but defender also could have tried to track back and try and clear it too. So kind of 70% Laban's fault, 30% team's fault, but there's still plenty of match to be played, as this was a relatively early chance for Sigma to take the lead in. And then Celje do find an equalizer with a beautiful follow-up shot from Ivica Vidovic in the 24th minute, and this was one of those ones where it was deflected off of the keeper for Sigma, and Vidovic manages to just run in the box and finish the goal. Brings it to a 1-1 chance, or a 1-1 game, and anything could happen from here. And sadly, Celje concede also in the first half as Tudis Kidnes has to save a diving header that comes in from across from Sigma, and he just fails to react in time. And Laban just couldn't get to the ball in time because he had saved the chance, or went for the chance on the other side of the goal before the cross came in. And Tudiskanas, just he really does just have to do better there. The ball, but he's still looking in the other direction as the ball passes his face, and it's a little rough. But again, it's just in the first half. There's still everything to play for in the second, and boy, did Celje play, but it did not really fall for them in their favor. The end of the match with 10 shots, 3 being on target with a 64% possession rate and 391 passes on the game compared to 176 for Sigma, and a pass accuracy of 87% with a total of 11 fouls conceded, with 26 fouls against or onto the Celje players. And there were some shots in this match that Celje should have put away, and I'll just put it that way. I believe there were two shots on target or 2 shots on the goal that were just centimeters, if not less than that, of being able to deflect inside of the goal, but they end up hitting the posts both times. And if Celje avoid conceding that early goal at the start of the game, which was, again, definitely savable, but it didn't happen, so there's no point in really complaining about it. Celje easily could have at least had a draw of 1-1, but these chances are, again, as I said, centimeters, millimeters away from just deflecting inside the post, and these were some really well taken shots. It's just sadly that it didn't fall for Celje on the day. And if you were to look at the Celje social media accounts, you would definitely see that most of the fans agree that Celje played a good game. It just didn't fall for them on the day. So even with the Celje loss, Samsunspor drew. So Celje are still sitting in the 3rd position of the Conference League. And as it stands, the Conference League currently sits at first place, Samsunspor on 10 points. 2nd, Strasbourg on 10. Celje on 3. Strasbourg defeated Crystal Palace on Thursday in a 2-1 home win. And then in 4th are Shakhtar Donetsk, but they are on a goal differential of 3, whereas Celje are on a goal differential of 4. And that is also one more than Strasbourg, who are on a goal differential of 3. So Celje win their next game against Rijeka, which is a beatable opponent to say the least, but I will be previewing that match a lot more heavily in the following week's episode. And then next we have the recap of the women's national team friendlies. Not much to really talk about. They played a game in October against Serbia. Slovenia had 2 goals to Serbia's 4. The goals were by Zara Kramzar and Maja Sternad against Serbia. And they're on a 2-match slide. It's only friendlies. I'm sure that the manager there was probably trying out a couple of things before the actual World Cup qualifiers next year, but I didn't actually watch these matches, so there's not much for me to say in that regard. But hopefully the Slovenia women's team is still, pretty up there in terms of morale after these 2-match losses in friendlies. And then we have a little bit of Slovenia national team news. Maybe less national team news as much as it is. But to start with the achievements, Jan Oblak, the Slovenian national team keeper, makes history and receives the 6th Zamora trophy for his achievements in the 24-25 season of La Liga. So, for those who don't know, the Zamora trophy is for the keeper who managed to keep the best goal difference in La Liga, and Jan Oblak has now won it 6 times, and that is a record in La Liga. And it's only fitting considering that Jan Oblak is just the greatest keeper of all time, not just in Slovenia, not just for Atletico Madrid, but I really do think that he is one of the greatest keepers in the world, one of the top performing keepers of all time, and he's only 33. He still has another probably 5-10 more years left of just being one of the greatest keepers and being showing how much of an art being a keeper is. We all remember what happened when Jan Oblak stopped that Cristiano Ronaldo penalty in the 2024 Euros, and man, that was just a truly special moment. So yeah, shout out to Jan Oblak for making history and receiving his 6th Zamora trophy in La Liga. Then we have Jan Vipotnik for Swansea City, almost, didn't quite, but almost set a record for the fastest goal in the EFL Championship. Now, it was not the fastest. The fastest is 9 seconds. Jan Vipotnik scored a goal in 11 seconds in a match against West Brom and ended up taking second place for the fastest goal in the EFL Championship. Now, obviously, this goal would not take you very long to watch if you just look up the Swansea versus West Brom highlights, and it is a very well-taken goal for Jan Vipotnik. It was a chip past the keeper, and it was, Jan Vipotnik has been on form, not just in the EFL Championship. He also had a goal in the 2025 or 2026 World Cup qualifiers for Slovenia, and he obviously can't win every single game for Swansea. If you're a Swansea fan, I understand that they are not having the best of seasons, but best of luck to you guys in the championship. And I hope that a lot of scouts are keeping an eye on Jan Vipotnik. I'd love to see him get a shout like Šeško in some of the Premier Leagues around the world, something in maybe La Liga, Germany, etc. But I don't think Swansea are going to promote to the Premier League this season, given the fact that they are currently sitting lower than mid-table at the moment. But yeah, it doesn't diminish the fact that Jan Vipotnik had an absolute beauty of a goal. So shout out to Jan Vipotnik and that accomplishment there. And then, not really an accomplishment, but some good news for the national team. Benjamin Šeško is set to return on December 5th for Manchester United from his knock to his knee. And he was obviously greatly missed in the World Cup qualifiers, especially when we, needed him most. But having him back, having him find form in the Prem will definitely be a good thing in the long run. And best of luck to Šeško at Manchester United, and hopefully that his recovery is a full, complete, and they aren't rushing him back. And I would love to see him start to find form at Manchester United and start just banging in goals left and right in the Prem. It'd be amazing to see. And then, lastly, as the title of the episode is named, we have a bittersweet farewell to Matjaz Kek of the Slovenian National team. So, after a 6-year-long stint as the leader of the national team for the men's team, Matjaz Kek's contract has run out, and they mutually agreed not to renew it with the president of the Slovenian national team, the president of the Slovenian Football Association. And in an article written by Matej Podgoršek of Seal.net, we get these quotes from the president of the Football of the Association of Slovenia. The team needs a new momentum, new challenges, and I think the manager has taken it completely correctly. Now, he then goes on to say, I would like to find a new manager by the end of January or the beginning of February, and that he doesn't have a list of candidates, but he does also say that it is logical that the media or individuals are trying to prefer a candidate, and we will be very thoughtful to look for a candidate who will be suitable for the management of the national team. Now, although there is not a quote-unquote short list, he did mention the fact that Albert Riera is on that list, even though it doesn't exist, and I think that is a far cry from happening. I don't see it happening. Albert Riera, as it stands, is getting scouted to take a big money contract from other clubs across Europe. He has obviously proved his worth with doing, a lot with less than a lot of clubs, such as bringing Slovenia to such a high competition in the Europa Conference League, and just being overall consistent as a manager, winning the league with 2 separate clubs in the same country. He did it with Olympia years ago too, and winning the cup, winning the league multiple times. He's been consistent. He knows Slovenian football, so I would love to see him I would love to see him in that role, but I also don't think that he is a manager very fit for running a national team. I think that he needs to be working with the players, day in, day out, week in, week out, and I think he's much more suited to running a club level team rather than running a national team project. And if he were to get brought in to run the national team, I could totally see him doing some sort of like dual management where he is also still running the club at Celje and then running the national team when it comes to the national team scheduling as well. But as it stands, I don't think it will be Albert Riera. I think it will probably be someone else, and that is probably the expected outcome. In a little bit of good Celje news, I believe that he has been having contract negotiations with the president of NK Celje, and the municipality of Celje has just approved a training ground for the club, which is the first of its kind. It's going to be a fully modernized training center built in Celje. It's going to have like all the things that most training centers across Europe would have that most Slovenian clubs do not have, such as a full designated pitch with weight training, physiotherapy, anything that most top level clubs across the world have, and that is great news. Celje is clearly looking to become the capital of football in Slovenia, and if that helps to attract Albert Riera, good. I think that him being in the Slovenian football ecosystem is overall a good thing for the league and a good thing in the long run as well. But back to the national team and Matjaz Kek, there has been an outpouring of support for Kek on social media by the fans, by other players, by pretty much anyone you could think of has just been saying, thank you, Matjaz, for your dedication to the Slovenian national team. I would like to also personally thank you. I know that your run in trying to get, the World Cup qualifiers didn't exactly end as planned, but there were still a lot of great memories. Top 16 finish in the Euros of 2024, a 17-match unbeaten run in all competitions. The time you served also in your previous stint getting the national team to the World Cup, and huge thank you to Matjaz Kek for all that you did, and best of luck to your future endeavors. I believe that there are some links to him potentially getting the job at Dinamo Zagreb, although they're first in the league right now, so I doubt that they're looking at maybe swapping managers, but that is not my area of expertise. I believe that he is also still looking, though, into trying to find a spot in a club across Europe, trying to compete as a club manager, which I do think that Matjaz Kek is obviously still a very competent manager, and I would love to see him succeed wherever he lands if he chooses to continue to compete. Best of luck to Matjaz Kek, and as everyone else has said, thank you, Kek, for everything you did for the Slovenian national team. And if you get a chance to, go leave one of the comments down below and any of the posts that mention him and just say, thank you for everything you did for the Slovenian national team. And that about sums up this episode of SLOgomet, a Slovenian football podcast. I will see you all again next week, Tuesday. Again, bittersweet farewell to Matjaz Kek and everything you did for the national team. And I look forward to some great matches ahead for the in the cup, in the league, and everything else to do with Slovenian football otherwise. So, yep, ciao, adio, and thank you for listening and for leaving your reviews and your follows, your subscriptions, etc. Everything. I didn't expect hardly anyone to actually ever listen to this, but I've gotten a fair bit of views and listens already, which has been awesome to see. So thank you to all who are supporting the SLOgomet, a Slovenian football podcast project that I am running. And I have the YouTube channel up. It is at SLOgometPod on YouTube. I'm looking forward to doing some content for that channel in the winter break. And I also have the Instagram account. Nothing is currently on there, but I am looking forward to hopefully getting some stuff up there soon. So again, that is at SLOgometPod on YouTube and at SLOgometPod on Instagram. And again, thank you for listening. Vala ciao.